Hello friends, in this video I am going to teach you about the other important elements which are very necessary for any good fiction. So let's start. First is setting. This is the place and time in which the story takes place. Setting is important in understanding the background and impact of the story. If a story is well told, we will recall the setting later, long after we have put the story aside. So, setting it is very important for any successful fiction. So, what is setting? It is nothing but it is the place where the author has set his particular work. So setting it is very important in understanding the background of any particular story. Okay, you read a particular work and you forget the whole story. But if the setting is amazing, you may have forgotten the story, but you will recall the setting later even after you might have forgotten the whole story. So setting it is very important for any good fiction. We will move on to the next, that is theme. Theme answers the question, what does it mean? A story's theme is often hard to state. It is what the author means or what the reader pursues to mean by the whole story. So, theme is nothing but we can say it is the moral of the whole story. Actually, it is very difficult to tell exactly what is a theme. But in simple words, you can say that it is summing up of the whole story. It is nothing but what the author is trying to convey to the readers or how the reader he pursues the story from his own point of view. So, theme is also very important as much as a setting is for a good fiction. Next comes author. This is the writer of any written work of art or fiction. So, author he is the person who writes a particular work. It may be a story, a poem, a play or novel. Any written work of art which is written by particular person, that person is called an author. It is very important to not only know the name of the author, but you should also understand and appreciate his or her background. This will help you, the reader, to understand what, how and why the author writes any story or novel. For example, authors have different writing styles in their works and they're motivated variously in their writing the story. So, when you read a particular work written by a particular author, it is very important to appreciate the author's background. Whether the author he belongs to some low background or whether he belongs to some high background. It is very necessary to appreciate the author's background. So, I would like to give the famous example from a black American poet's poem. He is Langston Hughes, the famous black American poet. He has written the poem called I Too. In this particular poem, the narrator, the poet, he being a black man, he is speaking about the sufferings experienced by the black people at the hands of white people. In this particular context, we can see that the speaker is made to sit in the kitchen when the guests come for dinner, which is meant only for white people. So they say to him, like, you go and sit in the kitchen because there are guests coming. You are a black, so you're not allowed to sit on the dinner table, which is meant only for rich and white people. So the speaker is experiencing that cruelty at the hands of white people. So he has written this poem. So when we understand this background, we will understand, yes, because the author, he belonged to a black society. So that's why he has written this particular poem to speak about the sufferings experienced by the black people. Obviously, by appreciating an author's background, we will understand why the author he has chosen this particular thing, or this why he is writing like this. Yes, this is the background. He belongs to some low society. So that's why he has written this particular poem in order to speak about the oppression of the lower class society. And different authors, they have their own different writing styles. So if you observe William Shakespeare, the greatest sonnet writer and the greatest dramatist of all time, his writing style is different from other writers. So if you observe Shakespeare's work, the supernatural element figures prominently in his works. When you observe the works of Ben Jonson, we can observe wit, humor, comedy, and everything which is funny. So different authors, they have their different writing styles. So when you read a particular work written by particular author, it is very important to appreciate their background as well as their writing style. So this style, it marks them different from other writers. So every author, they have their different writing styles. We will move on to the next, that is style. This refers to the way the novel or short story is written in order to have a desired effect on the reader. It also refers to the techniques used by the writer of a literary work such as point of view, humor, fantasy, flashbacks, tone, and so on.